Steve Kim for UCN Live, and I'm here with the Managing Director of K2 Promotions, Tom Loeffler. You have masterminded this thing from the very beginning, 3 years in the United States. Are you surprised by how quickly Gennady has resonated with the United States audience, not just on television, but in terms of a live gate perspective?
Well, it's actually less than 3 years. It's about 2.5 years, but he's had a tremendous rise as far as both his ratings and his ticket sales. With this fight coming up on Saturday night, it'll be the highest. Gennady will be the highest ticket seller in the state of California over the last 2 years. And for someone from Kazakhstan to do that, who was basically unknown in the United States 2.5 years ago, that's a tremendous statement. And I think it's a statement by the fans who react to the quality of the product that we're putting on. When he fought Rubio, and Donaire and Nicholas Walters was the co-feature. Now we have Chocolatito as the co-feature, and we're providing fair price tickets and on HBO, and it's fans have definitely resonated by buying tickets.
This Saturday night at the Forum, what is the Loeffler over/under for attendance?
For attendance?
Yes. What are we getting?
I'd like to think we'd be over 12,000. We have a 9,300 at the StubHub Center, which broke all the ticket sales there. We all the records. We added bleachers, we had standing room, and we just couldn't fill the capacity. So it'd be great if we had that. It'd be another 30% increase in the ticket sales, and that would be probably the biggest event in California for a long time.
Tom, I was at a fight this Saturday in Houston with Canelo Alvarez, him basically blowing out James Kirkland. Now that has a direct impact on you guys because Rock Nation Sports, which represents Miguel Cotto, was in attendance. Tom, it's my opinion that it's a fait accompli. Cotto-Canelo, I think, will happen next. Where does that leave you in terms of your position with the WBC being the mandatory challenger for Miguel Cotto?
Well, you got to give Canelo a lot of credit. Selling 31,000 seats, in a baseball stadium is a great accomplishment. I know Canelo and Cotto, they'd like to fight each other. The WBC has mandated that Gennady is Cotto's mandatory. They need our permission if they're going to go ahead with that. They were supposed to do it in May, which was the original agreement with WBC. They get one mandatory defense for Cotto. So we'll have to see if Cotto wins. I mean, I think Cotto's got a tough matchup. Daniel Guillot, even though Gennady knocked him out in 3 rounds, Daniel Guillot is a 2-time world champion and probably the biggest guy that Cotto's ever faced in his career. And he's still in the prime of his career. So there's no guarantee that Miguel's going to win that fight. But if he does, that's a great event, Cotto and Canelo. We certainly don't want to block it, but at the same time, Gennady has earned that mandatory position. So it just depends on what happens June 6th for the Cotto fight, and then we have to see which direction that goes.
They say there's a price for everything. If they could pay you guys and Gennady a step-aside fee, would that be something amenable to you guys?
Well, you can't force anyone to get in the ring with Gennady. We saw that with Chavez last year, where he got offered a lot more money to fight Gennady than he just made against Fonfara. So, if you force their hand, maybe Cotto vacates the title. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation. I mean, Gennady's goal is to collect all the titles, to be the undisputed middleweight champion. And there's a lot of chess moves that goes along with that. I mean, putting the Rubio fight together to put him in that position was the first move. Now we got to see if we can get either the Cotto fight, the Canelo fight, the winner of the two. The question is we can't stop them from fighting each other. The only thing is whether they'll fight for the WBC title or not.
Tom, we've talked about building markets, New York, LA. I was in Texas, and we've talked about this before. Is Texas the new frontier? Could we see that in the latter half of 2015?
There's no question that when Gennady was fighting in New York, I had so many requests from the California fans. I mean, I'm based in California, and when are you going to bring Triple G to California? Now that he's pretty much, established himself as the biggest boxing attraction that fights here in California, I had the same request for the Texas fans. And if Gennady ever fought Canelo, fighting in Texas, whether it's San Antonio, whether it's in Dallas at Cowboy Stadium, if Canelo and Kirkland sold 31,000 tickets, you can imagine that Canelo and Triple G would sell 40, 50, 60,000 tickets. So that would be a huge event. That would be something that we'd really look forward to.
Looking positive, if Gennady comes out of this fight clean on Saturday, map out his next fight. Approximately what month and date do you think he'll be back?
Well, we can't wait for fighters. If we waited for Chavez, we'd still be waiting. And he wouldn't have fought. So, it's one thing to try to put the big fights, quote-unquote big fights together. But, again, you can't force anyone in the ring. Gennady can't wait on fighters. So a lot of it's going to depend on what happens June 6th, what happens with Cotto and Gil. If everything goes the right way on Saturday, because clearly Abel and Gennady are focused on William Monroe. It's my job to look forward. But ideally, he'd like to fight again in September and then December. And just a matter of putting the best available guys that get in the ring with him. And if it's Cotto at that point, then that would be great. If not, then we'll figure out who else will get in the ring with him.
All right, this is Tom Loeffler. Tom, best of luck this Saturday. This is Steve Kim for UCN Live.